This is 7 News High School Red Zone Review Preview.
Hi everybody, welcome aboard as we're on the verge of week 9 in the high school Red Zone. We got a lot of region races that are still up for grabs all throughout the area in the different classifications, and in week number 8 some big moves were made to try to wrap up championships in those. Let us start out looking back at last week with Gaffney and Spartanburg, a much anticipated top 10 matchup in 5A, and Grayson Loftus. Sugar Jeffries got together on a 69-yarder just before the half. Gaffney led Raheem Jeter and Spartanburg 12-3 at the break. Under 5 to go in the third quarter, Jeter made it a 12-9 game. Spartanburg back within 3, and then, well, less than a minute and a half after that, Vikings block a punt. Christian Roberts the scoop and score, and Spartanburg had a 17-12 lead. But Loftus to Jeffries with just over a minute to go in regulation put Gaffney in front by 3. Spartanburg tied it late in overtime, though. A Loftus touchdown pass winning it for the Tribe, who even the all-time series at 52 with 3 tries and get a 6th straight win. A huge one indeed.
We go into overtime, our defense has a really good stand, so we go out there and, we're sitting there trying to contemplate whether to throw it or not because, we feel like you might be able to kick a field goal, but we hadn't had much success on our extra points, so Grayson threw a great pass.
The word for the comfortability is just trust. This group of guys we got is special. They're young, they're talented, and they're a tight-knit group. I trust all of them. So in those moments, it's easy to be confident in our guys to go make a play.
Not only 6 straight in the series over Spartanburg, but 11 of the last 14. So that was a huge battle in Region 2 5A. At Burns, Rebels are trying to get back in the win column and knock off Boiling Springs for a 38th time in 42 meetings. And up 16-7 in the third quarter, they start to pull away. Cameron Prysock off the dump-off by Colby Shaw, and then Prysock into the end zone. Burns was on its way to the victory. They've won 21 of 22 in the series. They go to 1-1 in the region, still with Gaffney and Dorman ahead as the Rebels knock off the Bulldogs. Non-region action, Dorman traveling to Malden. Mavericks team falling on hard times, 1-5, but against a tough schedule. However, Malden up 6-0 in the opening quarter when they forced that fumble. It led to a field goal to go up 9-0. Then it was Hudson Talley and Emo Fowler getting together. That drive stalled inside the 15, stayed a 9-0 game. Devin Ortegas, a night in which he carries for 250 yards, goes for 84 there. That led to a field goal. Malden had a 12-0 lead in the half, but tallied to Anthony O'Rourke, and Dorman rallying with a touchdown and a couple of field goals in the second half to get the 13-12 victory, go to 7-0 on the season, and go 24-0 all time against the Mavericks. Region 1 5A, Mann and Hannah, big showdown for the Yellow Jackets and the Patriots. A much improved Mann team. They went to Anderson thinking they could get a win. That was Ethan Anderson to Landon James for the TD. Later on, a little reverse trick action. Michael McClellan on the receiving end. Boy, what a weapon he is for Scoot Watson's team. Hannah, though, comes back with a 41-yarder by Vashawn Burton. Burton able to bust through, off to the races, and in overtime, Hannah wins it. You hate to see Burton limping on the end of that, but Hannah coming away with a victory in 11 straight over Mann. More importantly, they're 2-0 and 7-1 overall. Woodmont and Hillcrest. Hillcrest coming off an open date, another one of the area unbeatens, and trying to make it 14 in a row in their series against the Wildcats, and leading big in the third quarter. Tristan Berry's pass intercepted by Jeremiah Madden. Madden able to cut back, get some yards after the catch. Good field position for Bennett Judy, who dumps it off to Jaden Neal. Look at that little move. Gets some extra yards, and Logan Coldren goes in to make it 42-14 Hillcrest in the third quarter. They rolled on to another win, and a decisive one. 63-20 is the final score. They have outscored opponents this year roughly 350-90. Riverside and Lawrence in Region 1 4A. Maybe going into the season, you might not have thought this would be a major battle, but with Riverside trying to get a win and show they're to be taken seriously in Region 2 4A, as you saw the Nick Fowler to Jay Pulley touchdown pass, put Lawrence up 14-0 in the third, but Rob Sanders, the TD, and then Joshua Clark with under a minute to go hits the 35-yarder. 17 unanswered down the stretch for the Warriors. A huge win for them. Their first in 5 meetings against Lawrence. And Riverside goes to 2-0 in Region 2-4A.
You know, you always have to make adjustments. Definitely, definitely when you're playing a really good team, you got to make adjustments. We were able to do that, and I think the players, they kept composed. It's easy to get down, especially when you get down 14-0. But to come back, I love the grit, man. I love the fight.
So the win by the Warriors, giving them 3 overall in the season, but more importantly, 2-0 in the region. They've got Eastside coming up on Friday night, and then what looks to be a huge rivalry showdown against Greer after that. Speaking of the Yellow Jackets, they were huge fans of Riverside against Lawrence because Lawrence had beaten Greer the week before. So the Jackets went to Eastside trying to even up their record and make it 18 out of 19 in the series. Josh Runyon to Brock Diggins. Those guys get together again for the touchdown. Greer gets its 2nd win of the year. They go to 1-1 in the region. So if they can take care of business between now and the end of October, it could potentially set up a region championship game against Riverside. In Region 1-4A, Westside coming off a Monday loss against Greenville, looking to get back in the win column. And check out Sherrod Richardson on the kickoff return. Short kick by Pickens. They wish they'd kicked it deeper. Boy, he just blew past the coverage all the way to the end zone. The kind of night it was for the Rams, trying to win for the 12th time in 13 matchups. And with 13 straight region wins before they lost the other night against Greenville, that streak was stopped, but a 63-17 win on the Cutter Woods to Nehemiah Smith connection right there for Westside. Also in Region 1-4A, Greenville, which had gotten the Monday win in Anderson against the Rams, trying to make it 2 straight in the region and get over 500 for the first time against a rough schedule. And did they ever against visiting Berea. That was MJ Bennett. Here's Jaden Pepper. The Red Raiders scored 71 first-half points. They went on to an 85-0 victory, their 11th straight win against the Bulldogs, who essentially are playing up this year and next. They really should have been classified in 3A, but they're in 4A. Easley and Greenwood in Region 1-4A. Greenwood trying to keep pace with Greenville, so was Easley. A couple of 1-0 teams in the region going in. And Easley trying to make it 6 straight wins after an opening loss, but V. Morris going to go 21 yards for the early Greenwood lead. Later on in the opening quarter, Caleb Burton going to turn into a 52-yard play. Chris Liner's team getting better as the season goes on, improving to 3-4 with the victory overall and 2-0 in the region, setting up a huge upcoming showdown, first with Westside Friday night in the high school red zone and then with Greenville ahead on the schedule after that. In Region 2-3A, Powdersville looking to stay in the driver's seat against the most recent expansion team, the first year for Fountain Inn. Prior to that, Powdersville was the most recent team to start football about a decade ago. And on the opening kickoff, Elijah Hudgens was thinking big. Was he ever? 99 yards all the way back for the 7-0 advantage. Jack Criswell later trying to get something going for the Fury. Of course, Fountain Inn, you probably have heard they're playing with just freshmen and sophomores this year. That's Thomas Williams on the 30-yard pick six. And Powdersville moves on to the victory to go to 6-1 overall and 2-0 in the region. They've now managed just 41 points over their first 7 games, all losses in the early stages of their history for Fountain Inn. Also in Region 2-3A, Belton Honeypath had fallen to Powdersville trying to get in the win column and make it 13 in a row against their rival Palmetto. This guy is tough to stop, especially when he gets in front of you. Marquez Henderson, the sophomore, goes all the way. Palmetto tried to stay in it. Luke Dobbins later looking and finding Wyatt Winter on the dump off, hard hitting right there. BHP gets it back. Shaheem Robs going to add a touchdown run, and the Bears move on to the win to go 1-1 in the region. But again, Powdersville has the tiebreaker on them in the head-to-head, having already knocked them off. 63-10 was the final score. Southside and Rand round out Region 2-3A. First meeting since 2009 for a couple of schools that are only about a 15-20 minute drive from each other along I-85. Cameron Gambrell goes to Corey Turner. Turner looking for some open room, little hesitation. Got a couple of yards before the hit, then Turner again with the nice run. Rendo steps up, tries to get an offensive drive going, but Braylon Smith coming away with a Southside interception. Tried to take it all the way back. Good hustle to eventually corral him. However, freshman Mason Holtzclaw later to Caden Hutto, and Wren moves on to the win. Their 8th in 11 meetings against Southside, and with a big number, 54-7 is the final score. Also in Region 1 3A, you had a feeling it would go as it generally has for the Daniel Lions against West Oak. Last win for the Warriors in the series, 1986. Daniel having won 18 of the 20 matchups. Blaine Simons to Jalen Brown Wallace. Great combination this year. Jarius Cleveland got into the scoring act. And a West Oak team which is experiencing its best season since 2010. They'd won 3 overall going in. Sees Daniel get a 31st consecutive win. Lions rolling on in Region 1 3A to go 2-0 as they're not only looking to win another region crown, but have their eyes set on a 3rd consecutive 3A state title. Seneca and Pendleton. Pendleton needing to win on the road to set up a big showdown coming up Friday night in the high school red zone when they play host to Daniel. Well, picking up the action early 3rd quarter, Seneca was up 38-14. Cade Evanson taking it the direct snap. Made it 44-14. Later in the 3rd, Evanson again on the handoff. 13 yards. Bobcats roll on to the win. Pendleton had won 3 of the last 4 in the series, but not last Friday, as the Bobcats are victorious against the Bulldogs. Region 3 3A in Blue Ridge and Broome. First ever meeting between schools in Greenville and Spartanburg County. Tucker Massey in the 2nd quarter for the Tigers tied the game up at 21 at the half, but in the 3rd quarter, Jayla McGill, 28-yarder for Broome. Good job to extend the play and get across the goal line. Then Kamaje Brackett Brandon, nice run, set up another McGill touchdown. Broome improves to 5-3 on the year. All of their wins have come on the road. They're 0-3 at home. They go into an open week now, but they're 2-0 in Region 3 3A, setting up a big eventual showdown against Chapin, which was idle last week. Emerald and Woodruff, another battle among 3A teams. This in Region 4 3A with first place Clinton Idle on the night. You see the score, 21-14 ball game in the 3rd quarter. And Easton Birch, the touchdown, gives the Wolverines a 28-14 advantage. Emerald comes back. Jalen Foster gets in there. They added another to tie the game at 28 in the 4th quarter. So even up at 28, about 7 minutes to go. Birch back into the end zone. Woodruff gets the victory, a 7th straight over Emerald. They had lost their past 3 defeats by 7 points each. Well, they come away with a 7-point win, 35-28. They're now 1-1 in the region with a big one coming up Friday night at Clinton. In Region 1 2A, the Abbeville Panthers, of course, the team to beat. They were on the field turf against a Chesney squad trying to avoid the program's first ever 0-7 start. Tough team to try to reverse your fortunes against. Jamal Marshall, 65 yards for the touchdown. Later on, Marshall, shorter distance, 27 for the score. Abbeville jumped out to a 14-0 lead, moved on to the win to go to 5-2 and 2-0. They had scored 91 points over their previous 2 games combined, so they continue that trend. Also in Region 1 2A, 96 in Landrum. Each team trying to get a win to set up an eventual showdown with Abbeville. On the dump-off pass, it's Braden Mitchell to Jacob Gonzalez. First down, nice yards after the catch for 96. Mitchell later, QB run for the touchdown, but back comes Titus Poor to Braden Mashter for the TD for Landrum, and then Colton Link going to go for a first down, set up another Mashter touchdown, and Landrum gets the win at home. Huge one for them. They're now 2-0 in the region. They go to Abbeville Friday night with first place on the line in Region 1 2A. In the 1A ranks in Region 1, Mike Sonneborn, who's coached upstairs this year, was back in the sidelines for Southside Christian's battle against Calhoun Falls Charter. An 0-6 team, and Southside Christian was trying to make it 9 wins in as many meetings. That was Ja'Cory Martin to Ethan Chandler, then Martin back in at quarterback. He played some wide receiver the week before to Colin Phillips. Early lead for the Sabres, who never looked back. They've suddenly gotten hot. They're back to 500 after an 0-3 start. They're 3-3 and 3-0 in the region, still with a big battle against Christ Church ahead. Speaking of the Cavaliers, they were on the road at Shoals, trying to take the sting out of the Hornets. Christ Church's Wyndham to Cooper Ronchek. Ronchek waiting for it, and then able to spin away and drag a guy for a while. Then it was Wyndham to Luke Baumhofer. And it set up a Deshaun Reeder touchdown, and Christ Church was on its way to a win, so they go to 3-0 in the region. St. Joe's won to get another region victory. They do have a loss, though, but that's how the top teams did in that region last Friday. Mountain Foothills 7 in western North Carolina. Hendersonville at home in the red, trying to bounce back from a loss the week before against Chase. Leonard Benefield appears to be settled in at QB to Elijah Ferguson for the touchdown against East Rutherford. Then Hezzy Rudisil for the first down. Rudisil later on a 20-yard plus TD sprint. And the Bearcats able to roll past the Cavs. Hendersonville takes down East Rutherford 52-0. First meeting in a long time between those programs. So that's a sampling of the action we had for you in week number 8 in the high school red zone as we get ready for week number 9. It is a week coming up that the landscape is just dotted with gigantic matchups from the 5A ranks down through the various other levels, including a big showdown in 3A. That Region 1 3A battle as the Daniel Lions go and take on their arch rival Seneca. Daniel's been in control of that series lately, as they have against just about every other foe over the past 3 years. And it's the Lions team that is looking to keep that roll continuing while the Bobcats are thinking upset. And Todd Summers has a preview.
Daniel comes into this contest having won 31 straight games overall, which is the longest active winning streak in the entire Palmetto State.
It's definitely more exciting than pressure, I'd say, because, just it gives you that extra drive to, keep winning and keep the streak alive.
The Lions are the two-time reigning 3A state champs and haven't lost a football game since November of 2019.
The streak is not too much spoken on around here. We just focus on 1 week at a time.
It's a good thing to have, and I'm sure that the kids talk about it away from the team. When we're with the team, we're basically just talking about achieving goals that we've set for ourselves season after season.
The secret sauce to keep the streak alive despite almost a complete overhaul since it started is the foundation of the program.
We've gotten this far by having intrinsic motivation and by consistently trying to improve on a day-to-day basis.
In region play, Seneca is also 2-0, and the Bobcats know to get to where they want to go, they can't wait for Daniel to slip up. They need to rise up.
That's the beauty of the challenge. I think it's our job to elevate ourselves to meet that challenge. They've been good over there for 40 or 50 years now. They're not coming back to the pack anytime soon. It's our job to go chase them down.
While the winner of this contest does not mathematically wrap up a region title, the team that comes out on top almost certainly will be celebrating a region crown by the end of this month. In Seneca, Todd Summers, 7 News Sports.
What a game that should be. A couple of head coaches guiding their respective alma maters. And we'll have a full recap of that and so many more Friday, 11 o'clock on Channel 7, 11:35 on the CW62 for week number 9 in the high school red zone. Among the other huge games coming up on Friday in Region 2 5A, it's Burns going to Dorman. A couple of big 4A battles also, and some other 5A games too. In Region 1 5A, Hillcrest at Hannah. That could well decide that region championship. Hillcrest won the crown last year. While I'm on the 4A ranks, keep an eye on Westside going at it against Greenwood on the road in Region 1 4A, and that's a matchup of a couple of teams that have Greenville in their sights. If Greenwood wins, they would stay in line to set up probably a winner-take-all showdown upcoming against Greenville. You got some other big battles around the area too, so join us for all the action beginning Friday night at 11 on Channel 7 and 11:35 on the CW62. As we say goodbye to week number 8, let's close this program out with our plays of the week from last Friday. Play number 5, Malden put up a good fight against Dorman before losing by a point. Look at the high point grab by Josiah Simpson, receiver for the Mavericks, as he reeled that one in the pass from Emery Watson. Really a good effort by Malden through and through. They have played some tough folks. They're off to a 1-6 start, but they had Dorman on the ropes throughout that game. Play number 4 from the game at Greenwood, and easily trying to make something happen, Caleb Sutton. His pass deflected, and it goes right to his teammate, Dylan Arnold. Could have been a dangerous play as it was swatted around there, but from one easily green wave to another on the deflection to Dylan Arnold for play number 4. Play number 3. Hillcrest got the win against Woodmont, playing good offense and defense. Look at the nice interception. A takeaway by Jeremiah Madden. Just went up and made the ball his. Took it right away from the intended receiver. Then he adds some yards after the catch. That is playing strong defense right there. That's underrated part of the Hillcrest story. They are a great defensive team to go along with Bennett Judy and that high-powered offense. Play number 2, Westside and Pickens. Rams got a bounce-back win. Always good when you get scores on your special teams. Sherrod Richardson on the kick return. Wasn't really all that short of a kick. Took it right around the 15-yard line. Never looked back once he broke past the first wave of Blue Flame players. He was on his way to the house. Westside got back into the win column and got a region victory. That kickoff return of 80 yards by Richardson, part of the story for the Rams. And play number 1 for the Fountain Inn Powdersville game. It's another kickoff return. This one just about the full length of the field. 99-yarder. Elijah Hudgens able to take it all the way back. How about that? What a great run back by the specialist, the big playmaker, Elijah Hudgens for the Powdersville Patriots. 99 yards on the kickoff return. It was the opening kick. It set a tone in Powdersville's win. And again, that was a matchup of the 2 most recent expansion teams in our area. First year for Fountain Inn of the White, and now a decade old is the Powdersville football program. In case you're wondering, if you want to go before Powdersville, St. Joe's came in 2009, I believe it was, about 2 or 3 years earlier. Southside Christian, those are the new programs that have started football in the area this century, 4 of them in all. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show, and again, join us on Channel 7 for the High School Red Zone beginning at 11 o'clock on Friday night. Until then, Pete Ganity saying so long. We'll see you soon.